Hello, this is my introduction, and I did skateboarding as my topic. It relates to momentum because when you do your basic ollie, force, time, and velocity is implied into this action. And here's a clip of a good example. Now here's it in slow motion. So that was the good example. Now let's see the bad example. Okay, so first of all, he didn't jump. The more force you put down to jumping, the higher you go. Now I will analyze the momentum, the force, and the time component, but I'll use a different clip so it'll be easier to understand. So I'm about to exert a force onto the skateboard to create some momentum. I'm going low because the more time I spend creating the force, the more velocity and momentum I produce. We also find out the distance from me to the ground is roughly around 32 inches. The time it took for me to do the complete motion was around 1.04 seconds. The change in momentum would be 0 because the momentum before the action was 0 and the final equals the initial. So momentum is mass times velocity. The mass is my mass plus the skateboard, and that's around 53.75 kilograms. Then the velocity is distance over time, and we know that the distance is around 32 inches, but you'd have to include the distance coming down, which is 64 inches. And that's roughly around 1.62 meters, and we found out that the time was 1.04 seconds. So now we know our velocity is 1.56 meters per second squared. That times our mass would give us our momentum of 83.85 kilograms meters per second. Impulse equals force times time, and since our impulse equals to our momentum, we could then find out our force. So my impulse, 83.85, divided by the time my board leaves the ground, which is 0.645, equals to the force, which is 130 newtons. This is my conclusion. The good technique is to jump longer and higher to get a better result, instead of not jumping and just being bad. We learned that momentum, change in momentum, velocity, mass, time, and force applied all apply to skateboarding. The end.
Ever since I left the city, you got a reputation for yourself.